So I think for us as an organisation at Microsoft, it's a case of knowing that the volumes of data are now available to turn into information. Is great that we've got the opportunity. It's now making sure that people know how to get the best of that data to yield insights that are going to help influence decisions and drive impact with the organisation. So the concept of big data, everyone's talking about it. And personally I feel as though it's kind of just data and lots of it, and because next year it'll be even bigger data. So it's a case of saying, if I know all the data points that are available to me, how do I construct it in a way that's going to be informative to the business at speed so that they can make decisions quickly and get a head start on the competitors. I think in terms of a finance role, it's making sure that the tools that you use have that level of agility to show the information in a different construct. If it's a different type of graph, if it's with respect to mapping technologies, have you got the functionality within your tool sets to show information in different types of light, different context that might expose, as I said, an opportunity or a potential risk that could be on the horizon as well. So it's critical to make sure that you've got the right capabilities through the tools that you have at your discretion to use that can be agile in the way that you report the information back. And be conscious as well of the recipients of that information, that they might have different ways in which they understand data, and so how you present to them is imperative to make sure you get them one over the line in terms of what you want to try and influence. So you've got to be clear with people about the intent. So what's the case for change, and not just running with change for change's sake. So there's got to be a fundamental reason for whether you want to talk about in terms of transformation or it's an evolution of where you're actually going. So you've got to be able to explain that to the organisation that is affected by any kind of transformation that you want to undertake. And in terms of a cultural standpoint, it's making sure that you've got a roadmap with goals aligned to that, that people can appreciate and ascribe their own values to. You've got to be really critical or careful, I'd say, about trying to influence the values as opposed to the direction you want to go, because they're very personal, and so if you can at least tell them where the vision and the roadmap is, let them articulate that or internalise that with reflection of their own personal values, you're likely to have more people get on the bus to wherever you want to go to as well. It's a good question, and something I've been thinking about a lot, especially with regards to the competencies and skill sets of your traditional finance individuals. So if we look at the wave of offshoring transactional work, implementation of tools that can construct predictive analytics, that these used to be bread and butter skill sets that people that learn through a traditional finance discipline to do. If you're removing that body of work away and that understanding of how information is built, it's going to change the way that the retained finance function actually operates. What will be critical is how they can translate that within the context of business, understanding the business, what's going on, what does that mean for them, and having very strong communication skills and influencing decisions to drive impact. So there'll be more time spent on looking at the opportunities from a business perspective, and the business partnering is going to be super critical, as opposed to the creation of information that will yield itself almost automatically down the future. So it's what do you do with that capacity to actually have an impact to the business. Yeah, look, for me personally, it's great to hear the stories from those considering or partway through a transformation or an evolution of their state of play. Hear what's working, what's not working, and for people to be quite vulnerable and actually share their experiences, because not everything works, but we all learn together from those experiences to be better next time around. So I like that aspect of it. There's a good community feel about it. You've got a decent number of people, so the scale's there to get a flavour of what's going on, and hearing some of the experts in the field talking I guess in a visionary capacity about where they're seeing aspects of this going. That's really important to learn at these events.